The draft transport strategy needs to make sure that the Heartland's transport system works not just for the benefit of the region, but for the rest of the UK. The reason for that is quite simple. The logistics and distribution sector, well, it's an important part of the economy, not just regionally, but nationally. And with a large part of the Golden Triangle of distribution centres sitting within the Heartland, that emphasises the importance of improving inter-regional connectivity for the benefit of the rest of the UK. Now, the challenge here is that the freight and logistics sector is one of the largest contributors of carbon emissions, and it's potentially the most difficult in which to implement solutions to reduce those emissions. But we must do so. And notwithstanding the growth in digital connectivity, we can't ignore the continued importance of physical access provided through the UK's international gateways. Now, many of those gateways lie outside our region, but continuing to have the access to those gateways, that's important to our global competitiveness moving forward. And that's why in the draft transport strategy, we highlight the importance of improving surface access by public transport to the key international airports. Airports like Luton, airports like Heathrow. In both instances, airports where there's investment going into improving access by public transport, maintaining connectivity, but reducing the environmental impact of their operations. We also need to prioritise investment in our inter-regional connectivity along key corridors like that from Swindon in the west and Southampton in the south, through Reading, onto Didcot and onto the West Midlands. Corridors like London to Luton to Bedford and onto the East Midlands. These inter-regional corridors are important not just for our economy, but they're an important part of the connections that's going to help with the levelling up agenda across the country as a whole. We need to make sure we realise the full potential of our rail network to carry freight. We have internationally significant routes like Felixstowe to Nuneaton, Southampton to West Midlands, routes that need investment to make sure that the potential to carry freight is maximised. And we have an opportunity with the East-West Main Line to provide another alternative for rail freight. We can't ignore the importance of making sure that the opportunity to bring construction materials by rail is maximised. Corridors like the Midland Main Line and the Great Western Main Line, these are important for bringing aggregates from their sources into the region to support economic activity. Across the network, across the region, there's a network of strategic rail freight interchanges already in existence. But where there are new proposals that come forward, where they support the ambitions of this strategy, they will be supported moving forward. And we can't ignore the significance of road freight. There are a number of corridors across the region where making sure that we can accommodate and provide for the needs of freight and logistics operations is taken forward in terms of our investment. But in doing that, we also need to make sure that the impact of freight on the environment, both in terms of carbon emissions and in terms of the impact on the communities that they travel through, well, we need to make sure that the impact of that freight movement is reduced. Part of that will be about providing secure overnight lorry parking and the associated facilities. But part of it will also be about making sure that when we're looking at local servicing and needs of business communities, we make sure we design them appropriately so they support freight and logistics operations, but they minimise the impact on the community that they're serving. The draft transport strategy is the opportunity for you to tell us what you think about the policies and the proposals set out in it. We welcome and look forward to receiving your comments. Deadline for consultation responses is the 6th of October, 2020.